Let's go ahead and get it started, man. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast. For today's episode 256, we're going to be doing things a little bit different today, and hopefully you will enjoy it. We're going to be discussing 26 of my favorite J.Cole lyrics, something that I really have never done. I'm a very, very big music enthusiast, if you couldn't tell by the background of my, um, of the podcast, of course. I'm going to be going over in celebration of the fall off. Today is the day that J. Cole had dropped the fall off. And to me, J. Cole's always been a top three favorite artist of mine. And his music has a special place in my enjoyment, in my life. And I definitely wanted to at least do something and hopefully give you guys some game along the way. If you do not know who I am, my name is Champ and I help men win. Today, I will be helping you by giving you exactly what I look for in music and hopefully something that you could tend to pay attention to a little bit more within music for sure. It has helped me so much, especially within inspiration for sure. So go getting into it. J. Cole is an artist that really embodies the type of music that I like, right? He has the beginning of his story to the end of his story. Like legit, that's exactly what it is. And the way that he frames it is essentially, starting from one of his first albums to come up, or yeah, just going through the entire realm of emotion that comes with your creative endeavor, right? And I think that's something that's very very interesting because whatever craft that you choose, you're gonna start somewhere, and you're not going to be the best, but you're going to constantly try to get better. You're going to be constantly looking for recognition. You're going to be constantly looking for fulfillment. You're going to be constantly, you know, going through the challenges of life. And that's exactly what J. Cole has definitely displayed through his discography. And um, that is particularly what I look for in music. The thing that I'm most drawn to the artists on the come up. Like, and then no pun intended, obviously, with Cole, but essentially, I really, really do enjoy to hear people talk their shit before they are who everyone knows them to be. And um, that is my favorite thing. People that are very, very confident, people that are very, very highly skilled, of course, and people who do not get enough recognition. I see myself as one of these types of people. So this is thing I find affinity towards, especially within the music of other people, for sure. And essentially, the thing that I had thought about this that kind of prompted me with this idea, along with obviously it, being in a timely manner, it was this concept that I realized when I was driving to work. I had just had a good day um, or initially a good morning, you could say, of being able to come to a lot of these things that I, call my ideas. These things that help me shape my reality. They help me shape my own, um, you know, the way in which I function within my own mind. And I was having a lot of good thoughts this morning. It was a very, very thought provoking morning, which was very, very good for me, especially with doing a podcast and being a person who talks on camera and stuff like that. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I really want to put some music on. But I knew if I put music on, it would be in some weird way a distraction, right? Um, and obviously, this is something that I can say, and this is something that I truly do believe. Most things that you consume, most things that you see, most things that you hear, they all get you away from the thing that you're supposed to be doing, right? And for me, it's to be a creator. It's to tap into that creative endeavor. It's to be able to display many different ways in which I can display my purpose, and be fulfilled within that creation for sure. So I thought about it, and I was like, a lot of the music that I can listen to, and to an extent that I do listen to, right? Because not every artist makes that type of music that, can be a little bit more, substance filled, right? So I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Most things in life are a distraction away from the thing that you're supposed to be focusing on, um, which is, like I said, your creative endeavor, your purpose as a man. But there are very few artists, at least I can speak for myself, that make me feel as if I'm not so far away from my purpose, so far away from distraction, right? That gets me completely blinded from the thing that I'm supposed to be focusing on. And I think that in my opinion, and I have to keep saying this. I'm not like a huge music critic, but I can only give you what I look for in music. This is why you're here right now watching. I can only give you exactly what I like in music, right? The things that I look out for are the things that are displayed within artists like J. Cole, like Big Sean, like early Drake, like early Kanye, to me, Russ, and also NF, who are able to keep me on, at least like I said, for myself, keep me on track, keep me on essentially in this state of, in a weird way, believing my delusions as they had believed their delusions, right? That you're better than what you are and you're more than what you could be. You're more than what you are right now, and there's more to come. There's more to do. There's more to accomplish, and I think that's an interesting state of mind because the people who are able to achieve some of the greatest things are the ones who are crazy enough and delusional enough to actually believe that they can, right? And the more you can put yourself in that frame of mind, and when you begin to observe the success, which now becomes inspiration to you, the inspiration that comes from others, you be able to understand that a lot of these people were able to stay in this mode, to stay in this belief, to stay under this spell, if you will, that is their own, self belief. They're believing in their own high, believing in their what is in that time a certain type of delusion. And to me, that's the only thing that really makes sense in my opinion. That's what I look out for in my music. That's what I look out for in the world. I look for that inspiration. I look for things that help, you know, that make me feel a certain way, that is going to be tied into my purpose, that is going to be tied into my own personal fulfillment, my own inspiration, what I get inspiration from. So those are the people that I'd say, if you can, find your own people, hopefully you're like that. Maybe you listen to music for something else, right? But for me, these lyrics are going to embody not only the positive mindsets that I absolutely love within music, they're also going to be displaying some experiences that I do think and have very much value within, that I can also relate to and find affinity with. And we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Um, yeah, I'll explain these bars as I get through them, and obviously you're gonna interpret your own way, but I'm gonna give you the way in which I interpret these. If you're in the comments, make sure you go to let me know for sure. I'm going to be hopefully tapping into the chat. I know I'm gonna have a few people on here today. Hopefully more than a few though. Let's see. Give me 1 second. We're gonna get it started here in a second. Give me 1 second. I gotta make sure I got this. I gotta get right. I gotta get right for the one time. But yeah, no, this is gonna be a little bit more of a laid back type of podcast. I'm not really here to, you know, call my goat. Yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised about that. I can't blame you. To me, right, my top three has always been the same. It stayed pretty much the same for a long period of time. I have Big Sean, Drake, J. Cole. But and I know this might be some recency bias, and maybe, you know, maybe it is, but I don't give a fuck. Cole is slowly, in my opinion, starting to pass Drake just because he has the type of music that I listen to. And Drake, not to say that he's not great, because obviously he's in the big three for a reason, right? We can all at least consecutively agree that these people within the big three. Um, he just doesn't make, or rather, he doesn't tap back in. He's not rapping like he needs to pay some bills. You see what I'm saying? Cole's always going to be on that type of time. Big Sean's always going to be on that type of time. And as I said, that's what I look out for, right? So I look out for that inspiration. Drake's not really rapping about shit that I can relate with right now. You see what I'm saying? And shit, maybe even that I will never be able to relate with, for being actually real. So the things that are in the music of, like I said, of the Big Sean's, of the J. Cole's, that's what I like. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. This right here is a perfect embodiment of something that I mentioned a little bit earlier with believing your own hype. In Too Deep for the intro, J. Cole says, "Cause see, some haters, some N words was haters that I just viewed as clowns. At 14, I knew I was the nicest dude around. I gotta make a move. I gotta do this now. If they don't know your dreams, then they can't shoot them down." And throughout his music, this is something that I've observed, and I've watched a few podcasts that Cole was on. He really does talk about this idea where he didn't want to tell anybody his dreams. He didn't want to tell anybody what he really wanted to do and aspire to do, because he didn't want anybody's negative energy to get in the way between him and his dream. He wanted almost to hold it captive, to the point where he wasn't gonna let he wasn't gonna let anyone fuck up what he had going and what he believed in, right? He wanted to be completely convinced in his own delusion. And that's exactly what led him to his success. Is not wanting to hear what other people have to say and just constantly putting in the work to the point where it's completely undeniable. And I think that's I find plenty of affinity within that, right? Obviously, me pursuing my own creative endeavor, me pursuing and choosing the vehicles of my purpose in which I've done. Um, I didn't really safeguard my own dreams and aspirations, but I do respect that and I do understand that because, you know, it's interesting to hear what people have to say and it can really convince you to not do something. And if you listen to everybody else and don't listen to the voice that's within inside of yourself, it can potentially misguide you. And the more you're in tune with that voice, hopefully it's trying to lead you in the right place, right? So I really do respect that. I really love that bar from Cole, and there'll probably be a few of them that I mentioned uh, that are kind of similar to that. Next track, "Love Yours" by J. Cole, absolute fucking classic. Always gonna be a bigger house somewhere, but feel me, long as that people in that motherfucker love you dearly, always gonna be a whip that's better than the one you got. Always gonna be some clothes that's fresher than the one you rock. Always gonna be a bitch that's better out there on the tours, but you ain't ever gonna be happy till you love yours. So classic, absolute fucking classic, right? It's as simple as that. Preaching the gratitude, preaching the appreciation for what you have. Essentially, you won't be happy until you're really, really content. In a weird way, content, but in a weird way, fulfilled with what you have. And like I said, to be in that energy of being grateful, expressing your gratitude, expressing you being thankful for what you have. You can have you could if you're not in that state, then you're constantly always seeking things that are without that are outside of you. And if you're seeking things that are outside of you, then obviously you'll never be really content. And you see this within a lot of people who are rich, who have you know all the things that people conventionally would think that they would want. And a lot of those people, they're empty inside because they're trying to fulfill something that isn't something that really can be fulfilled, right? Gratitude is a practice, right? Being thankful for what you have and grateful for what you have, and to be in recognition of this is something that money cannot buy. And um, yeah, essentially, there's certain people that are going to be truly grateful and content for what they have, and there's people that are going to be, you know, there's always going to be more. And the people that are always in that state of not to discard the ambition, not to discard the search and the adventure for wanting more, but to be in a state where if you aren't happy right now, then you'll never be happy. Does that make any sense? If you're not able to be in the state of gratitude right now, how could you be grateful for something that you can potentially have that's more than what you have right now if you're not grateful for what you have right now? Does that make any sense? Hopefully you understand what I'm saying, but it's a great fucking lyric, man. Getting into the next ones, this is gonna be a little bit more closer to the vest, man. But I'll go ahead and expose it to you. I recently had a kid. Absolutely one of the biggest blessings that I've ever had, if not the biggest blessing that I've ever had in this life. And um, to be able to hear people in music talk about this specific thing, especially J. Cole, more specifically. Big Sean just recently had his kid. Drake, really doesn't make music about that, but to be a little bit more vulnerable um, is something that I really, really, it really does affect me a lot more now. My daughter's 5 months old almost. Um, it affects me a lot more now than it ever has before. So he mentions, uh, of course, my girl as well, of course. It's on Hold It Down by J. Cole. He says, "But may the Lord give me strength. I love you more than anything, the future mother of my kid. The love is the love is real, and if we ever part, God forbid, I love you still. So when I'm on the road, don't trip. You know I'm down for you. Keep it tight and don't slip. Now hold it down, man. Crazy, absolutely great. I'm gonna have another lyric as well that comes from that as well. And here's the thing: it's part of talking about like essentially your connection with a woman, your connection with your partner. Um, and one thing that I will illustrate in this next one that I think is a very interesting thing is to acknowledge, and J. Cole does this throughout his music. If you listen to enough of his music, this is something that I find, and I would say a lot of men truly probably find some affinity towards this, and to an extent. He discusses he discusses his battle with lust. And this is something that I think, if you can't get women, that's one thing. If you can get women and you have a woman, the temptation, I'm not going to say it's always going to be there, but to be in denial of that, to be in denial of the existence of temptation, is to be voiding yourself from your shadow. And your shadow could, if you're not acknowledging your shadow, if you're not acknowledging all the deep and dark and honestly the truthful things that exist within your imperfect human consciousness, then it might be in a weird way shown in a way where some men they cheat and things like that. But to be in acknowledgement of your feelings, to be honest with yourself, to be honest with the woman that you're with, to be honest to the world about what you really feel. I think that's something that's very, very admirable, and he does it. And I will mention it a few times here. He goes, same track, hold it down. A woman with an ass and a strong mind. It's been a long time. Sometimes you're on your bullshit. Sometimes I'm on mine. Will I have a hard time to stay committed? Or do I only want your voice moaning when I hit it? Man, only God knows. See, another one of those things that's just absolutely a masterpiece. Very, very articulately spoke. My God, it's man. He's just so nice, man. He's so nice on the mic, man. He's so nice. And yeah, like I said, that's one of those things, right? To be an acknowledgement of the ways in which you feel, to be also, which he demonstrated, especially within the most recent, rap beef that did exist. He has a character that he's striving for, and just as me, just as hopefully you watching this, you have a character that you're striving for. You want to be a man who can acknowledge that he has weakness, he's imperfect, but you're still striving towards the goal of being who you can become, right? Which is the character that is going to be, hopefully leading you in the life that you would like to live. And like I said, J. Cole's always been vulnerable about this within his music, to be an acknowledgement that, he has the money, he has the fame, he has the status, he has the game, and he has a woman as well. And nothing against the woman, but a man with probably decent testosterone is going to be in a position where you're going to feel that lustful lure. And what you do from that is obviously all going to show your character. But if you're able to remind yourself of who you want to be and why you're doing the things in which you're doing, then you're going to be in a much better spot. And like I said, it first starts with acknowledging the shadow and not just trying to hold it in a place where it's not acknowledged. Because like I said, then it'll come out in odd ways. You don't want that to happen, of course. Next track, one that I mentioned most recently on a clip. I think I did it in a live as well. J. Cole mentions on is She Gon' Pop? I swear if put half of what they put in chasing ass into a craft by now, you'd be famous and rich. But I get it. You rather lay with a bitch while you play with her pussy and let her play with your dick. It's one of those things that he's really doing. He's really acknowledging the importance of putting things into your craft to be able to put your purpose and what's going to make you fulfilled above women, above chasing women, above having sex with women. And that's one of those things that I do strongly believe in, right? I speak from the perspective of having a woman and still needing to put what I want to do and who I want to become first before anything. Because here's the thing: if I'm not doing and being all that I can become, then everybody else is getting a lesser version than what they actually deserve. And yeah, that like I said, I'll say it again, right? He goes, I swear if put half into what they put into chasing ass into a craft by now, you'd be famous and rich, right? Essentially, you need to dedicate yourself to something that is hopefully going to be on the pursuit of mastery, in the pursuit of the skills in which you would like to develop, in order to be the character that you would like to be in this life. And uh, like I said, it's a perfect demonstration that if you most people are just going to take the path of just chasing women, right? Instead of doing the internal work, putting your 10,000 hours in to hopefully achieves mastery in the things in which you would like to go ahead and achieve mastery in. And if you do that, then maybe you be in the better position. You see what I'm saying? Next track, Vilmatic, J. Cole. Now, do I give into the temptation I'm facing? The thought of losing a good woman keeps me from chasing, but I'm just a man. At times, the timing is wrong. Plus, my dick is like a man with a mind of his own. But I'm trying to be strong, remind myself she ain't about shit. The only thing, or he goes, but I'm trying to be strong, remind myself she ain't about shit. These hoes the same, all they change is they outfit. Oh my god, bro. It was in his bag, bro. He was in his bag. So like I said, it's that same theme, reminding yourself of the character that you would like to be, understand that you have a woman that you want to maintain that is hopefully worth maintaining, and like I said, acknowledging the temptation that's there, but not reaching because you know you're better and you know you're destined for better than that, and acknowledging obviously that hoes ain't shit. The only thing that changes their outfit. You know how it is, man. Come on now, absolute man. He's so good. He's good. He's good. He's good. This guy's nice. This guy's nice. All right, next track, HYB, Hydra Bitch. Might delete later. J.Cole. You already know what time it is. He says A B C D E F G H I J K or J. Wait. He goes A B C D E F G H I J K MNOP. That's little me in the classroom asking what's L. I never been known to take those. Your girl saw me and her face froze. You better be lucky I'm faithful. Please test me. I ace those. My God, bro. I'm telling you, he's top tier with that. Same thing, acknowledging, you know, you better be lucky I'm faithful. But I still got it. But you know, I ain't taking no L's. What's an L? I like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, there's not too much I could say right there. It's just he's in his bag once again, and there's really nothing to it. Same thing I mentioned a little bit earlier about how these certain lyrics, maybe they won't mean shit to you right now if you don't have any kids, but when you have kids, maybe these things will mean a little bit more. Um, the one that I will mention, "She's Mine" Part Two, great. After I had my daughter, that was the first song that I listened to for this reason right here. Reminisce when you came out the womb. Tears of joy, I think, filled up the room. You are now the reason that I fight. I ain't never did nothing this right in my whole life. Got me thinking, am I worthy of this gift? Am I strong enough to lift? Um, absolutely, absolutely in his bag, man. Super deep in the bag. Um, yeah, just one of those things that you either feel it or you don't. You either, he's talking to his daughter. Um, I'm pretty sure in this instance. Um, but yeah, he's just in his bag, bro. In his bag. I can't even believe it, bro. So that shit hit different when I had a daughter, and he has a lot of bars about his sons and stuff like that, and I'm sure when I have a son, I'll be able to feel those a lot more for sure. Um, KOD, J Cole, and some of these are not going to have so much meaning, right? I gave you exactly what I like in music. Some of these things are going to just be, sometimes it's just the bars, man. Sometimes it's just the bars, but for the most part, they're all going to have very very similar themes, and that's just how it is. Next track, like I said, KOD. How come you won't get a few features? I think you should. How about I don't? How about you just get the fuck off my dick? How about you listen and never forget? Only gonna say this one time and then only gonna say this one time, then I'll dip. Is ain't worthy to be on my shit. Haven't you heard I'm as cold as the tip? And then he goes off on that. KOD, great album. And I'll give you a little bit more history about this shit as well. For me, right? For me, I can only speak on my journey, right? My journey of listening to Cole and things like that. Um, I did get into Cole really, really late into the game, which I was, surprised after listening to his music and stuff like that, how much I actually did very, very, very much enjoy his music. One of the first, outside of all like the super popular singles, like the Power Trip and No Role Models and Wet Dreams. I heard all those on the radio growing up. I never really got into it because I was like, I've heard these songs like 100,000 times. They did on the radio. They got overplayed, in my opinion, right? Not to say that they aren't great songs. They just got overplayed. So I really never really got into listening to Cole. It was about, I think it was the summer of 2017 or 2018. Whenever J. Cole released KOD, that's when I had first really started to listen to J. Cole. I listened to KOD, the first full album that I listened to top to bottom, and yeah, it was just one. It was a great album. Of course, some people don't really rate it as high compared to his other albums, but that is at least for myself. That is the one of the first albums that really got me into, you know, liking J. Cole a lot more and being able to understand his story, being able to understand the things that he went through. He has plenty of stories in there where he's, giving you the game about his own life. And yeah, just a great track. And yeah, he's just one of those things. He's just talking his shit, man. He's just talking his shit, man. I love it, man. Yeah, I'll read you some of the comments. AJ said, "I love that. I love the no Cole knowledge. I can tell you heard him, not just listened. Exactly. No L's. It hits different when you have your little one. Hits different for me too. Exactly. He knows exactly how it is. He has a few boys. Yeah, you know how it is exactly. He has two sons. J Cole has two sons as well. So exactly, exactly. Next track, A Tale of Two Cities. Classic, of course. 2014 Forest Hills Drive. He goes, um, small town Hollywood dreams. I know that everything that glitters ain't gold. I know that shit ain't always good as it seems, but till you get it, how could you know? Yeah, he goes, but tell me, till you get it, how could you know? Right? It's one of those things that, you really don't understand the value where you actually do value certain things until you actually get them, right? You can say, you know what, I have my values in order, but until you actually attain those things and to be able to really weigh it up against what you actually value, um, it'll begin to get you to realize what is actually worth valuing and what is worth valuing less. He goes, I know that everything that glitters ain't gold, but till you get it, like I said, yeah, you know how it is. So, gray bars as well. It's one of those things that really did make me think. Um, with values and things like that, that's something that I really reiterate a lot on the podcast is to be able to understand your values, to be able to understand that there's a lot of things that you do have right now that are worth more than what money could buy, and you know a lot of these things that are conventionally seen as the things to aspire towards are also the things that when people get them, they don't really feel like it's enough. They don't really feel like it's actually bringing fulfillment, right? I know that everything that glitters ain't gold, right? Just because it's nice, just because it's alluring, just because a lot of people want it, doesn't mean that when you have it, it's going to give you all the feelings or the feelings that you could be looking for in something else that maybe doesn't cost any money at all. So, all right, another one. January 28th. J. Cole's birthday was a couple days ago. You already know I had to put that shit on, of course, in a timely manner. If you believe in God, one thing's for sure, if you ain't aim too high, then you aim too low, right? He's discussing he's discussing the ability to put faith into something. He's discussing the ability to essentially mistake yourself for not being able to aim high enough, right? If you have faith, you should be able to dream big. If you don't have faith, then of course you're not going to be able to even dream at all. And a lot of these things, this probably went over people's head, and it's not really the big, the biggest bars that he has or the biggest most profound lyrics that he has, but it's one of those things that when I look out for music, that's something that I always pay attention to. It doesn't matter who it is. If you're talking that real game, I'm always going to pick it up for the most part. So yeah, I'll reiterate once again: if you believe in God, one thing's for sure. If you ain't aim too high, then you aim too low. Essentially, I've heard, like I said, I've watched plenty of J. Cole's podcasts. I would recommend the one that he did with one of the ex Warriors executives. I think it's Bob Myers. I think that's the name. He did an interview with Lil Yachty as well, or a podcast with Lil Yachty. Those are very, very good for sure. But he discusses putting faith and essentially believing in your own hype, believing in your delusion. And he goes, envision the life that you would like to live. He goes, and I'm gonna butcher this. He goes, get to the highest point where you want to go, and go a little bit higher than that. And that's one of those things where he's really suggesting people to aim higher, right? Um, and if you don't aim too high, then you aim too low. And if you here's the thing, you would want to shoot for the stars, essentially. Shoot for the stars, and at least maybe you'll land on the moon. But if you aim too low, if you're not if you're not aspiring to anything, if you're not building towards anything, then of course you aim too low, and you must live with that consequence of your own action, or inaction rather. Next track. I don't know how many we're in, but I'm gonna keep going until I'm done, and that's it, man. I know I ain't got too much time today, but We're gonna keep rocking it. 100 mil, J.Cole and Boz. It's not about money, it's more about time. Shit makes sense when you see how I be spending mine or how I spend mine. Burst through the ceilings, I'm feeling sublime. Can't leave the game yet. I feel like LeBron. But yeah, I really wanted to emphasize that first part. It's not about the money, it's more about time. He's talking about 100 mil. He's talking about essentially he's gloating a little bit. He's talking his shit, man. Talking about 100 mil. He's still on the grind. He still has that mindset. He's still hungry. And essentially that is what the journey is about, right? There is no destination. The journey is the destination, right? To be in the amidst the struggle is to be what's worth reaping, right? When you're looking back on the days, these are the days you're going to be looking back on. These are the golden times, whether they feel golden or not. These are the times. And to understand that, you know, these moments right now are worth more than what money can actually afford. Because there'll be a point in time, hopefully, where you do have a lot of money. And when you have a lot of money, you would give all that money to be back in this moment, going through the things that you're going through, facing the challenges and facing the adversity that you're going through right now. But I feel like a lot of people, they get caught up into this mindset, oh, I want to make money. Not to say, making money is something that everybody has to do, right? To be money hungry, to be seeking something, to be chasing money is to be saying that it's far away from who you are and what you actually can attain. Um, for me, I always know exactly where money lies in my value hierarchy. Of course, I'll give you a lyric as well from fucking Kanye, right? Great fucking lyric. He says something along the lines of this, right? He goes, having money isn't everything, not having it is, right? And it's as simple as that, right? If you don't have enough money, then you're gonna want money, right? But if you have enough money, then you'll realize that money doesn't really mean that much in the grand scheme of things, right? And obviously, like I mentioned, right, time is how you're going to move the needle. So it's not about the money; it's more about time, man. Simple as that. Reminds you of when Big Sean said, "The underdog just turned into the wolf, and the hunger steady grows." Exactly. Next track, Stick, a fucking classic. Stick. Dreamville, J. Cole, JID. So it's no wonder I'm walking with caution. I know that God got his grace with me, but I still treat a ride through the hood like a hike through the woods. Got a stick that I take with me, right? Obviously, that shit has no, I'm not going to say no meaning, but it shit's just hard, man. It shit's just hard. I had to have it on that shit, right? Me and Anthony, we always talk about that shit all the time. If you know Anthony, Anthony's my best friend. We always be saying that shit because that shit's just straight hard, man. That shit's just hard. I really don't have any other explanation for it. Shit's just hard, bro. I had to have put it on there. Next track. I got Last Call. I have two different lyrics from that. Two essentially parts of verses, of course. All right. He goes, making beats, writing rhymes, thinking deep, fighting times, was getting better, but wasn't getting younger. And all the times can make the most confident wonder. But never doubted or allowed that shit to phase me, yo. Just switched my thoughts up on the station like a radio. He mentions essentially putting in the work and not seeing the exact result, right? Not getting recognition for the things that you're striving for. Something I can very much relate with right now. I put in a lot of work. If you look at my YouTube channel right now, I have more videos than I have subscribers, but that just goes to show you that I'm willing and committed to putting in work into my craft, admits the result, but still understanding that the creative process itself is the reward. The character who I am because of the adversity is the actual reward. And like he mentioned, right, all the times getting better but wasn't getting younger, right? Time is going to go by. All that time can make the most confident wonder, right? It's as simple as that, right? It'll make you wonder, but like he says, never doubted or allowed that shit to phase me out. Just switch my thoughts up like the station on the radio, right? Essentially, you want to curate a certain mindset. That certain mindset is hopefully going to get you to where you want to go, right? Don't let the doubts seep in. Don't let other people's words seep into what you actually are trying to strive for. Because if you do, you're going to be sadly mistaken, and it's going to be very, very much costly for damn sure. Next track, same thing. Last Call. He's talking about Jay-Z. Wonder if you see it in my eyes. I'm trying to get the throne. Wonder if people know how many nights I spent alone. Same thing, right? I guess I'm kind of hinting at the same shit. Maybe I did it in reverse. I should have said that one first. But essentially, he's talking about putting in the work that no one sees. The hours, the long hours of on the path to mastery, putting in that 10,000 hours before anybody recognizes who you are. You're first able to recognize yourself that what this is actually what I'm doing it for, right? And everyone will see if you put in enough work. Next track, Farewell, J. Cole. He goes, I think yeah, these are two separate ones. He goes, will they say I was a sinner or pretend I was a saint? Will I go down as a winner? What's the picture they gon' paint? Wouldn't say that I'm a quitter. That's one thing I know I ain't. Will they tarnish? Will they taint? Glorify me, overthink. Say they know me. Say I'm great. Say I'm phony. Yeah, I was fake. And then he goes, essentially, he's talking about, you know, as the past goes on, right? How is he going to be remembered? What are people going to remember him for? That track is something that's very, very interesting as well. I've made a playlist, and that I added that track to the playlist. My funeral, the songs that I want to play at my funeral when some of these rappers they reminisce on death, they reminisce on things like that, right? How they'll be remembered. I think those are the things that I wanted to add to my own. So if you're watching this right now, if I pass away, just know I have a playlist that must be played at my funeral for damn sure. And that's definitely one of the tracks for sure. And he mentions this as well. He goes, so when a man dies, all his secrets go with him and fade, a part of history no longer known. And he goes, and then it goes on to, it connects to the one that I just had mentioned, right? Okay, I keep doing these backwards or, switched. When my story's told, how will they tell it? Will they say that I was a giver or remember I was selfish? Will they say I was a sinner or pretend I was a saint? And obviously, like I mentioned, the rest of it, right? He's in that state of where he's reminiscing on the things in which he had once attained, and who he was for sure. Next track, Two Face, J. Cole, of course. I'm tired of waiting on this ticket out this motherfucker. Hope they don't kill me before I get up out this motherfucker. I gotta go. Now, can I be that I thought I was? I gotta know. Will I make it like I thought I would? I gotta blow. He's talking about essentially his ascension. He's talking about, being impatient, putting in the work, getting better at the craft, but not seeing the recognition, not seeing the result, maybe not seeing the money come, but you know, still honing in on his craft and still doing what he needs to in order to be better for sure. I really respect it, of course. Next track, Friday Night Lights. Funny how so close can seem so far. This is one of the I think this is the intro to Friday Night Lights. He's essentially putting himself in the state of where he's trying to realize that like I had mentioned, he's not getting the recognition that he would like. The money isn't showing, the recognition isn't showing, and that obviously can take a toll on a person. That can take a toll because here's the thing: if you're putting out your best work or what you believe to be your best work and not getting the recognition, yet you see people who are putting out work that is half as good. Maybe they put out half as much work as you did, and they're getting more recognition than you. You would feel some type of way. Cole exactly displayed that for sure in this. He goes, funny how close can seem so far. I mean, this is your moment. This is your moment. It's supposed to be your moment, ain't it? It's supposed to be your moment. It's supposed to be your moment. It's supposed to be your moment. What's good? What good is being the one when you're the only one that knows it? Right? Great. Absolutely great, man, for sure. Next track, Close. This is off the off-season J. Cole. And this is something that I feel as well. This is something that any creative would feel as well. He goes, don't give a fuck. Don't even give a fuck that I'm broke, cause in my mind I'm rich with the shit I done wrote. Therefore, I'm convinced that this is supposed to happen, and in time I'm a blow. They gonna label me the GOAT. Yeah, same thing. These are all gonna be hinting at similar themes, like I had mentioned, and yeah, that's one of those things that I think a lot of people really downplay, right? Because in my mind, I'm rich with the shit I done wrote, right? The things that I have thought about, the process that I had put into my craft, those are the things that I truly do value for damn sure. Next track, Pricey. Just like the Vegas Strip blowing through chips, I'm rich, bitch, I'm rich. David Chappelle on his latest Netflix. Go ahead and try to cancel my shit. I still be on stage with my hand on my dick. 17,000. All jamming my hits. Dave Chappelle is my favorite comedian. Any verse that's gonna have that's gonna have David Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, I'm always gonna rock with that shit. And he basically saying, hey, I'm that guy. You can do what you want, and it don't even matter because I'm still gonna be here. People are still gonna recognize me, and I'm still gonna be that guy. Simple as that. Next track, Knock the Hustle. A great one for damn sure. This was off Cause's album. This was a J. Cole feature. He goes, to never try is the ultimate fail, but love is wanting more for someone than they want for themselves. Deep. I guess I love a lot because the more I do my thing, the more I feel the guilt and shame that my brother is not. It's a deep one, right? If you're a person that's ambitious, you're going to want the people around you to be ambitious. Maybe you have some friends that aren't as ambitious as you, but yet, you still want to go ahead and pursue, greatness, right? And, if you don't try, you're going to, that's the ultimate fail, like he had mentioned, right? And obviously, like he had mentioned, right? Love is wanting more for someone than they want for themselves. That's something that I really relate to. All the people that I know in my life, they know that I want the best for them, right? The way I go about it, interesting. Next track. I got a few more left, fellas, and then I'll go ahead and end it off. I only got a few more. Highly recommend. All right. Next track. Rags to Riches. This is on the come up, I'm pretty sure. He goes, that boy a genius, and you ain't even listening, man. Man, you insane, but you'll see though, just what the hell about to be though. So give me 1 year and play this back like TiVo, cause boy, I'm finna blow. I'm a motherfucking torpedo. This music's in my blood, so watch this term mosquito. Same thing. Early on in the journey, he's on the come up. He's literally on the come up. He's on the come up. You see what I'm saying? He's just talking his shit before anybody knows who he is. He knows that he's skilled. He knows that he's going to put the work in. He knows that he's been putting the work in. And he said, it's only a matter of time before you see exactly who I know myself to be. For sure. Great one. Absolutely love it. Next track. And I ain't got much more left, fellas. Lion King on Ice. Obviously, J. Cole, of course. Lately, I reflect on the time it was low. I got it up off the floor. I'm stronger than ever before. Just like I plan to be. They want to see me fold, but ain't no thing to me. It's one of those things, man. He understands that, sometimes in this life, you're not always going to be on the up and up. But here's the thing, man. You got to do your best that you can. And you at the very least, you don't fold, right? It's something I definitely don't recommend. I definitely do not fold in this life because I'll tell you right now, brother. That'll be one of your biggest mistakes. Don't fold. Next track, final one, and I think this is 26. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 26. Last one is off Black Friday. If you've heard that, it's an unreleased song. J. Cole goes. It's one of those things. I'm going to be hinting at the same thing that I mentioned at the very, very, very beginning. Okay, he goes. Fuck do you know about my dreams? Nada. If you really believe, ain't got to talk about it. You heard what happens when you talk about it. Looking at you funny when you start to doubt it, fucking up your energy, and then you start to doubt it too. This is him reiterating the things that he had mentioned, that I had mentioned a lot earlier, right? He mentions, he constantly mentions this, right? He wanted to protect his energy. He wanted to safeguard his dreams. He didn't want to hear anybody's doubt, anybody's positivity, anybody's doubt, anybody's anything. He didn't want to hear any of that because it might fuck with his mind. If people say, "Hey man, you're great," that can fuck with your mind. If people say, "Hey man, you're shit, you're crazy, you're delusional," that's gonna fuck your mind up. He would just rather live in a world where nobody knows and everyone will find out. That's all I have to say for today's episode. I was going to detail a lot more. Maybe I'll get into it maybe in a future live. Tapping with that for sure. But these are 26 of my favorite J. Cole lyrics. Give you a little bit more of an insight of what I specifically look for in music, what I truly value in music. And hopefully maybe you found some new music. Maybe you found a new way to look at music. That's just what I do personally, as far as what I like in music for sure. Other than that, this was episode 256 of the Life of Champ podcast, talking about 26 on 2626. The Fall Off out now. Great listen. If you want to know, if you want to see my live reaction, I did 2 lives yesterday. So tap in with that for sure. The fall off, like I said, 2626. You know how it is. Dreamville, Dreamer in this bitch. Come on now. You already know what time it is, man. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Next podcast is going to be on Thursday. Tap in with that for sure. I'm going to be going live Monday. Tap in with that for sure as well. And other than that, stay winning, fellas. You know where I'm at. And like I said, man, the fall off out now. Tap in with that. Fucking classic, man. Y'all have a good night.